While political elites debate reforms in Abuja, and election campaigns dominate media cycles, far from the spotlight, Nigerians are dying in silence. Last week alone, 95 people were killed and 68 abducted in 32 violent attacks across 12 states. Villages were razed. Mothers were buried. Children disappeared. The statistics are horrific. But more harrowing is the fact that they no longer shock us. We have normalized a level of insecurity that would be unthinkable in any functioning society. This is Nigeria's war within, undeclared, unmanaged, and unfolding every single day. A nation fragmented by fear. From Zamfara to Benue, Kaduna to Borno, the attacks followed a now predictable pattern: armed groups storming rural communities. Villages killed in their sleep. Survivors fleeing with nothing but the clothes on their backs. Government responses delayed, muted, or absent altogether. In Zamfara, 31 people lost their lives in coordinated attacks across 3 LGAs. In Benue, herder-farmer clashes left 13 dead. In Kaduna, 20 people were abducted after deadly raids. Every region of Nigeria has its own tragedy, its own unhealed wound. Root causes: a crisis of governance and accountability. What we are witnessing is not simply a security failure. It is a collapse of state legitimacy in vast swathes of the country. There is a vacuum where trust in government should be. The state has failed to secure its borders, disarm criminal syndicates, dismantle local war economies, invest in intelligence-led policing, protect rural communities from being overrun by terror. Meanwhile, many security operatives are underpaid, poorly equipped, and demoralized, asked to fight fires with broken buckets. But it goes deeper. Poverty, unemployment, and disillusionment fuel the ranks of these armed groups. In some regions, banditry has become a shadow economy, better organized and better armed than the forces meant to defeat them. Where is the national outrage? The most deafening sound in all this is not gunfire, it is the absence of outrage. Where are the candlelight vigils? The marches? The hashtags? Have we grown so accustomed to tragedy that rural bloodshed no longer moves us? The truth is, most of these victims are poor. They don't trend on Twitter. They don't make the news cycle for long. They are the disposable people in a disposable system. And in this silence, impunity thrives. The human cost beyond the headlines behind every attack is a family torn apart, a mother watching her child dragged away by gunmen, a father forced to choose between staying to protect his farm or fleeing for survival, children too traumatized to return to school, women assaulted and used as bargaining chips in ransom. The ripple effects of violence destroy more than bodies. They destroy futures, erase economies, and fracture communities. What must be done now? The federal government must move beyond reactive airstrikes and press statements. We need a national security reset, decentralize policing, give state and local authorities the power and tools to respond rapidly. Invest in rural infrastructure, roads, communications, and access, reduce isolation and vulnerability. Launch a national disarmament campaign, reclaim illegal weapons and demobilize militias. Target the financiers, cut off the economic lifelines of terror, track ransom flows, illegal mining, and gun smuggling. Center victims in the conversation, support trauma healing, rehabilitation, and community reintegration for survivors. Security is not just about troops and guns. It's about presence, protection, and participation. We must remember the forgotten. It is easy to feel helpless. But silence is complicity. Whether through journalism, activism, or civic pressure, we must amplify these stories. We must demand better from our leaders. We must reject the narrative that this is just how things are. Because if this continues, we risk becoming a country where life outside the cities is cheap, and death barely makes the news. Conclusion: what kind of nation do we want to be? Nigeria stands at a crossroads, not just politically, but morally. Can a nation that fails to protect its most vulnerable truly call itself sovereign? This isn't just about security. It's about dignity. And whether we choose to fight for a future where every Nigerian, no matter how poor, how rural, or how voiceless, matters. Because until that happens, the blood will keep flowing. And the silence will scream louder than the bullets.